Hey guys, in today's video I'm checking out a gimbal sent to me by Moza. This is the Moza Air, which has received many positive reviews all over YouTube, so I am very excited to check out how it comes packaged and how it performs. Let's get started. So this is the box that the gimbal comes in, professional camera stabilization system, and you can see a picture of the gimbal inverted with a two-handle extension grip, so that looks pretty awesome. Around the back you have supported cameras, and there are a ton of them. So let's open this thing up. So inside you get a very nice kind of pelican case, very tactical looking. It feels like if you drop it from a second-story window, your gimbal will maybe survive. And then opening it up, we have a little microfiber cloth, and then an instruction manual / user guide. This is version 2. First things first, this is part of your two-handle extension. So you have a little latch here. I'm assuming you can lock over and then lock the actual gimbal in the middle. It's nice that it's collapsible. We have a little pouch, couple of USB cables, I'm assuming for various models. Panasonic GH is on here, Sony A series, and then just a standard mini USB. A whopping 4 battery charger. And speaking of batteries, we have a couple of them here. All right, next we have a little lens support if you are using longer lenses on your gimbal. Thumb screw that probably locks the gimbal in place. We have a handle here, very nice and smooth rubber. Feels really nice, and then a little bit of a red accent, as well as a tripod mount on the bottom. Here is another handle with a locking mechanism, and another one. So probably gonna be for your two-handled grip. The gimbal itself, so let's pull this out. And here we are. So huge plate. You can see that you can fit a decently sized camera on this thing. You have Moza branding on the side here. And on this side, it's upside down, but you can still read it. Goodson Moza Air series, then a micro USB, and then some mounting points. And then you have a toggle switch here, and then a button. So this is where you will screw in this handle, which I'm assuming I'm going to put 3 batteries in and then attach to the bottom. Overall, it's very solid. As you can see, there are no exposed wires whatsoever. Everything is integrated, and these are brushless motors. The cool thing about these is balancing is very easy because we have thumb screws everywhere. So you simply unscrew it, you can mark the measurement, and screw it back down. Same thing with this side. Unscrew it, you can move it and tighten it back down. So I don't think balancing the camera on this thing is going to be very difficult. In fact, let's go ahead and do that so that you guys can see what it looks like with the camera on it. Now this gimbal, just like many others, does have different modes, and the way that you access those is by pressing down on this middle button. So the first mode is probably one that you're familiar with. It's kind of the standard gimbal mode where it will follow your pans left and right. It will stabilize up and down. It won't tilt up or down. Second one will in fact tilt up and down. It will also move left and right. It won't roll. The third one, 1, 2, 3, will lock it completely, so no matter what you do, it will stay. And the fourth mode also follows yaw left and right, which is pretty standard with these sorts of gimbals. Now for this video, I kept it simple. I just used the whole thing in mode number 1. So before I talk about the overall performance of this gimbal, let's go ahead and take a look at some sample videos with this gimbal, again, A6000 and kit lens. Here we go. So that is it for the sample photos and videos, and I have to say that looking at that footage and editing through it, I am very impressed with how smooth and how well this thing performed. I have to say that this gimbal, if I were to summarize it in one word, it would be simple. It's just very easy to use. It's one of those gimbals that you can give to someone who's not very tech savvy, and they will be able to figure out in a matter of minutes. Even taking a look at the app, it is very simple. These buttons at the bottom aren't even labeled, so you can kind of go through there. There's an adjustment, there's one where you can control the gimbal left and right and the tilt. There's a settings button where you can set custom parameters if you'd like. It's just a very simple and intuitive way to use the gimbal. Obviously shows you battery as well as Bluetooth connectivity. The Moza Air connects to the app via Bluetooth very quickly, and even though the app may not be as fully featured as, let's say, the Crane or the A6000 gimbal that I reviewed recently, it will give you plenty of settings to play around with, more than enough for an average user of a gimbal. So let's talk about performance. Battery life is amazing. I shot basically over the course of 2 or 3 days with this thing, and you could see that the battery life is still at 69%. So I would not see any issue with you using this for 12 hours straight. The footage from this thing is pretty remarkable when you factor in how small and lightweight this gimbal is. Pulling it out of the box when I was doing the unboxing, I did not expect it to be smoother than the A6000, but as you can tell from the sample videos, it is definitely noticeably smoother than the previous gimbal that I reviewed on this channel. Setting up and balancing the camera on this gimbal was very easy and straightforward. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that the A6000 with the kit lens is a very lightweight package, but it took me maybe 2-3 minutes to get this set up and balanced without any issues. What surprised me most about this gimbal is the way that it is able to control up and down motion. Now that is really the problem with most gimbals, is that you have 3-axis stabilization. Really the 4th axis would be up and down, and so if you are running, for example, most gimbals shake quite a bit. Now this is what this gimbal looks like as I'm running across a rocky path, and you could see that there's a little bit of motion up and down, but it is very well controlled. Now this gimbal is rated for about 7 pounds, which is impressive given the size. Obviously what I'm using right now is nowhere near that weight limit, but if you do have a heavier camera setup, you shouldn't have any problem. The plate on this thing is quite large, as you can see. The only issue that you might run into is if you have a larger camera, you might bump up against this back motor because it's not a 45-degree angle gimbal where you can see the screen. It's kind of a standard designed gimbal. But overall, I have to say that I was very impressed with how this thing performed. In fact, I was having so much fun using it over the last couple of days, I never even tried out the dual handle setup because I didn't really find a need for it. I just packed this thing. It was very small, easy to pick up. This gimbal reminds me a lot of the Zhiyun Crane 2, which is my favorite gimbal that I've ever tested on this channel. This just feels like a smaller version of that gimbal. I'd say it's about equally as smooth, and it has almost the same payload capacity, which is impressive given the compact size. I feel like the Zhiyun Crane 2 is kind of an overkill for an A6000, whereas this feels just about right, even though it can handle a lot more weight than just this thing. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you are in the market for a gimbal, definitely check out the Moza Air. I was overall very impressed. In fact, I didn't even show you guys flipping it and doing low angle shots, very easy, just like that. So I wish that the grip was a little bit bigger, but it's compact, it's rubberized, no real complaints, because even when my hand got sweaty out in the 100-degree heat, I was able to keep a firm hold on it and didn't have any slipping issues. So that is going to be it for my review of this thing. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your favorite gimbal is down in the comments section below. There are a lot of good ones out there. If you guys are interested in checking out more information about this thing or possibly even purchasing it, I will post a link to Amazon down below. By using that link, you do help support the channel. As usual, thank you guys for all of your likes, comments, and support. Stay tuned for more. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.